Okay, this is third time lucky. So I'm answering the question, how do Massive Owl make work collaboratively? What I think we mean when we say that we work collaboratively is that in making our performances, in the rehearsal room, in the creative process, we strive to work completely collaboratively together in the creation of our performances. So what that looks like is that we don't work with an identified director or writer or lighting designer or choreographer or dramaturg. We are all of those things, and we take on those different roles at different points in the process. And then importantly, we then step outside of that role if we've taken on a specific role at a point in the creative process. So, for example, if I'm performing and Sam is asking me to do something or do something differently, which means that he is taking on a more directorial role, he will then also step outside of that. I'll step outside of my performer role, and we'll talk about that, and then we'll go back into that process, and maybe this time Sam will be the performer, or maybe he won't be. And I think that when we say that when we collaborate within the rehearsal room, that's what we mean, is that we really strive to operate outside of any kind of fixed structure or hierarchy of roles and responsibilities, and we do that by fluidly moving between these different roles and positions, and what that involves is a lot of talking and a lot of negotiation between the three of us, or the five of us, or the four of us, or whoever makes that Massive Owl in that process. It involves a lot of constant kind of dialogue and negotiation between everybody. And what I remember kind of Danny saying to me at one point is that our performances, and in making performances, we're trying to get to the point where we all say the same word at the same time, and that's the kind of point we're striving to within our process, and that there's an understanding that when we go into making a piece of work, any preconceived ideas or thoughts we have about whatever it is that we're making, we understand that through the process of collaborating together in this way, we will produce something that looks probably nothing like what any of us have individually imagined. And I think there's an openness to that way of working, which is really exciting but also very difficult. And so when I think about collaboration, and particularly in the context of our own work, I think about kind of negotiation and dialogue, and reaching a point where we all are kind of on the same page with the piece of work that we're making, and I don't, having worked with the company initially kind of as an outside sort of artist and associate artist coming into that collaborative process, and now kind of being more fully part of the company, I can't I struggle to, I think, work in any other way. And to me, that's really exciting, and I think is why I've continued to work in that way with this company. And I don't necessarily, sorry, I'm rambling a bit, but I don't necessarily think that this process is ideal or the best way of working, or that it is any more kind of, it's not necessarily ideal, but it feels really exciting, and potentially really tests kind of my sense of ego and ownership of the work in a way that I think is really important, and that I hope is then reflected in the work that is made, and then how that is then met in a live performance space by the audience. And I think that collaboration is about, I hope that collaboration is about allowing the other people you're working with, and allowing yourself to do what you do best for the good of that piece of work. And that's what I hope happens through the process of collaborating that we engage with. Yes. And that is me.